We got some dumbass floating around this country.
This is Unshackled with IMRAN on JusticeNews.net.
Except that Twitter is official U.S. government policy. It is not the result of a rule.
This is Unshackled with IMRAN on JusticeNews.net.
These things need to be determined by the public, not by somebody who's simply hired by the government.
Unshackled with IMRAN on JusticeNews.net.
You're listening to Unshackled on JusticeNewsNetwork.org.
This is Unshackled with IMRAN on JusticeNews.net.
Unshackled with IMRAN on JusticeNews.net.
Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it. We got some dumbass floating around this country.
This is Unshackled with IMRAN on JusticeNews.net.
Except that Twitter is official U.S. government policy. It is not the result of a rule.
This is Unshackled with IMRAN on JusticeNews.net.
These things need to be determined by the public, not by somebody who's simply hired by the government.
Unshackled with IMRAN on JusticeNews.net.
You're listening to Unshackled on JusticeNewsNetwork.org.
This is Unshackled with IMRAN on JusticeNews.net.
Unshackled with IMRAN on JusticeNews.net.
Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Mr. Imam.
Badr Faridi.
Finally.
Finally.
Yeah.
There's a time for everything.
Yes, there is time for everything. Yes, sir. I agree. I've been trying to call you so many times and I just couldn't get through.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. My apologies that you tried so many times.
No, I don't. You don't have to apologize, sir. I really appreciate you and I appreciate your time. It means a lot to me.
Okay, so tell me what's going on. What happened in your case?
Yeah, this is what happened. Let me tell you, give you a brief from the beginning. I met this American woman, via online through a dating website. She came to Morocco. We got married. Then I moved to the United States back into was October 2003. I was very young at the time, and my ex-wife had three girls. One was at that time I think 16. Another one like 10, and the other one 6 years old. Then across the street was this grandparents. It's not my ex-wife's parents. It's her ex-husband's parents. Mm-hmm. And they're kind of, they're Christians and they're kind of extremists, taking stuff to the extreme. From the beginning, they hated me once they knew I was Muslim. So to them in their mind, what happens in 9/11, because it was close at the time, it was just 2 years after that event. To them, I was a bad person. didn't want me to be there. Like I took their son's place. They hated me. They were calling me some crazy names. And my English at that time I was speaking very, very little English, but I can feel their vibes. I could understand. Anyways, so we proceed. Then in 2006, my ex-wife converted to Islam. Then the grandparents lost it. They said they cannot have the children confused. They don't want her to, to them it was like a big betrayal. And so they just wanted to get rid of me, and they want to take the children with basically saving their beliefs. They want them to be Christians. One time I was at work. Okay, before that, during 2006, there was a girl, was 14 years old, 11 or something like that. I don't remember. She used to come and sleep over. She was my ex-stepdaughter friend. One time this little girl was then 9. She complained that girl was showing her some pornographic pictures, and she was like, messing with her. Then the mother was upset and told that girl she was not allowed to spend any night over anymore. Then there was this guy called Saeed and Raz. They were from Morocco. I helped them. Raz stayed with us like a couple months, 3 months, and Saeed stayed with us long, like a year. And one time, they complained, the girls complained that he was doing some stuff. I didn't understand. You were just talking to me in English. My English at that time, like I told you, I just spoke a very little English, but I understood what something is not right, was sexual. When I confronted him in my language, because he's from my country, he denied.
You're listening to Unshackled. Unshackled with IMRAN on justicenews.net.
Then I told him, I helped you enough. I don't want no problems. Time to go. And I think the girls told that to the grandmother. A week later, the accusation went from him straight to me. Then they took the girls and they put them in the grandparents' house. The detective tried to talk to me. I told him, I don't speak English. I need a translator. He talked to me like for 5 minutes, and he just let me go. There was no investigation, no nothing. Then at that time, I had to go back to Morocco because we needed to sell my deceased mom's house. And in Morocco, for us to sell the house, you have to have all, the children, whoever, that is going to inherit to sign, agree to the selling. Before I went, my ex-wife was at work. Then the grandparents came to the house with a gun. I didn't see the gun, but it was like wrapped up in a sheet, but it was a shape of gun. They were speaking English to me. I didn't understand. But what I understood, they want me to leave. They took my green cards from me, and they threatened to kill me if I say anything or I come back. I was shaking. I never in my life had anybody like pointed a gun at me, or I never handed a gun. I never seen them in real life. All I seen them in the movies, because in my country.
Hang on a second. Yeah. You were in Morocco, and this happened in Morocco?
No, this is what's going on in America.
So, but you were in Morocco.
No, before when they knew I was going to Morocco.
Okay.
But they know I was going to Morocco, so I'm gonna come back.
Who came with a gun?
The grandparents.
The grandparents came with a
with a gun wrapped up in a sheet.
In a sheet, and then they took it out and put it on your head.
They pointed at me. They didn't take it out from that sheet.
Pointed at you.
Yeah, pointed at me, and they were talking to me in English, which I didn't understand, but I understood. They told me they don't want me back. They took my green card from me, and they say if I come back, they're gonna kill me.
Okay.
So basically, they want me to leave and never come back. When I left, I went to Morocco. I just left. I said, I am done. I can't. When you go through something like this horrific, how could you come back? I said, so I went there, and I just left. Then my ex-wife joined me in Morocco. She tried to have me back. I didn't tell her the story. To me, I was like under a state of shock. All I wanted this to be over with. I don't want nothing to do with America. I don't want nothing to do with nothing. I just want my life back as it used to be. So my ex-wife stayed with me for like, I think a year in Morocco. Then she had to leave. I told her that she needed to leave. So she left. I got my divorce. Then later on, my ex-wife told me that they charged me. But these people never investigated nothing. They never came to the house. I mean, the investigation that is an obligation by the law has never been done. So there was a charge for my arrest, a warrant for my arrest for years. So when I went to United Kingdom before, came back to Morocco. Then when I went to Canada, I don't know how they found out. Then they told me that there is a warrant for your arrest. I told them, I know. So then they extradited me back to United States. When I was extradited in 2018, when I came straight, nobody talked to me, no detectives, no police. They sent me straight to jail. Then they gave me a public defender. When I told the public defender back then, hey, sir, I'm not going to be able to understand everything you're telling me, especially when you're going to be using like law terms, you know, these legal terms. I'm not familiar. I need a translator so I make sure that we understand each other completely and there will be no confusion, no mistakes. He told me, no, don't worry about it. I understand you fine. I told him, you understand me fine, but I don't. So he ignored my request. So we made like 20 times through that. I was waiting for trial, like being there for 14 months. Now, we're going to go to trial. At that time, I didn't understand the law. And at that time, my English was not as good as the English I'm speaking with right now. So they never did me a translator through whole ordeal. Like I go to show up in court. No translator, no nothing. The only time they give me a translator was when I went to trial during those 3 days. And during those 3 days, the person doesn't even speak my dialect. So his Arabic was different. And I brought that to the lawyer's attention. He told me not to say anything. He doesn't want the jury, he doesn't want to draw the jury's attention to the translator. Later on, when I studied the law and I understand, I have the right to a translator from the beginning to the end. This is the law of the United States and this is the law of the Indiana states. And not any translator. It must be a competent translator. Then I have the right to a district judge, which her name, Teresa Cataldo. Teresa Cataldo, for whatever reason, she didn't preside over my trial. Without my consent, she never told me nothing. When I went to trial, I see this guy, a magistrate judge, who was a prosecutor just the year before in the same prosecuting office that prosecuted my case. So basically, he forced himself on me. He never told me he was a magistrate judge. He never told me nothing. Now, this is what I believe completely so that the lawyer they gave me, he sold me out. He didn't want to defend me because all he was worried about is about my faith, asking me if I was a Sunni or a Shia Muslim. I told him, what my religion have to do with this? You keep asking me, I told you so many times I was Muslim. Why you keep telling me if I was a Shia or I was a Sunni? Actually, that lawyer never filed for nothing.
This is Unshackled on JusticeNews.net.
You're listening to Unshackled. Unshackled with IMRAN on JusticeNews.net.
So when we went to trial, Now the judge is not there, who's supposed to have to preside over my trial, and that's all right. So they put me this guy. When we went to trial, the prosecutor, this lady, was just a beginner. She never called when they put a detective who never worked on the case. He has never seen me, and I have never seen him. I told the lawyer, I don't know this guy. So why is he here? He just told me always to just keep quiet. He's gonna handle things, but he never did. That's number one. Second, when they brought the lady who was a counselor in school, she said that back then, that she said she talked to the girl and she told she was afraid to go home because of me back in 2002. I told him, sir, I came to United States in October 2003. How in the world this person was afraid to go home because of me back in 2002 that I didn't even exist in the lives of this family? So he was telling you, sure. I told him, I am beyond sure we can prove this easily, a point of entry. But he didn't want to say nothing about that. Hearsay, I don't know how much you know about the law, but in Indiana, hearsay is not allowed in a trial. But they allow the hearsay. They don't. That person, that girl accused 3 people before. She accused Skylar that she was sexually touching her. She accused Saeed that he was sexually touching her. She accused Dawaz that she saw him sexually touching her sister. She was just accusing everybody, left and right. But they say, no, you're not going to bring these things in trial. You can speak about these things, which I do have the right to defend myself. Because if you're going to take me through this whole ordeal based on only a statement that's not backed up with any evidence, no eyewitnesses, no physical evidence, even when we took her to the doctor, the statement said there is no trace of any sexual, activities. Nothing happened. Everything is intact. So basically, you take me to trial. You want to give me all these years. You ruin my reputation based on a statement to tell me a statement is sufficient to sustain your conviction. Okay, the law in Indiana said that person has to testify to whatever charges information. First charge, they charged me with 3 charges. The first one is anal intercourse, level A felony. That's the worst. Second, the information was like basically they're accusing me that this person, alleged victim, masturbated me. 2. The third charge, they said that I was touching her and fondling her, a C felony. So now that person, she's 24. She has mental issues that they didn't want to tell the jury. Anything that's going to make any doubt on this person, keep changing her story. She doesn't know what's going on, and she didn't even accuse me on that interview. She was talking about Saeed, and she's never even given this information. That I don't even know when these charges come from, because they charge you basically on a statement, but they have this information has to come from the mouth of whoever is accusing you. Those charges never came out of her mouth. And I watched that video, interview, 22 minutes, never once mentioned me. She was talking about Saeed, she's talking about Raz, she's talking about the other people, but never said that any sexual intercourse, anal sexual intercourse, any masturbation, none of that. So this information was like a made up. That's how they do it here, to scare you off so you can have a deal and take a deal.
Yeah.
So they want to scare you with too much time, so they scare you off. They're toxic. So basically those are fake charges. If that lawyer was really wanted to defend me, this could have dismissed from the get-go, but basically I was sold. So now when she took the stand, that was her testimony at trial. Basically, she never testified to any of those 3 charges. So by Indiana law and the law, that person does not testify to those the charges information, you are free to go. When I went to trial, they were speaking about 9/11 and Muslims, they're terrorists, they're criminals. This is what the lawyer said, and I wrote it down in the very beginning. And he didn't have to tell this jury about my faith. He told them, I'm going to quote, when 9/11 happened, this is my lawyer, and he said, when 9/11 happened, and whenever I'm traveling, I said, if anything was going to happen, it's going to be 99.9 a Muslim. You have no problem with my client. He's a Muslim. So basically, he wants to tell them, this is a terrorist, this is a dangerous person. Now you know about his faith. So from the beginning, he killed that trial. And he did that intentionally. He knew what he was doing. And I told him before, do not mention my faith to the jury. He never came to see me between the pre-trial and trial. He never prepared me to the stand. He never did nothing. He came to trial without any paper like this guy. So what is your preparation? So he was there just chilling. And all he was about is looking at the prosecutor, the lady, just like she's his girlfriend or someone he knows or he likes or something. It was everything was crazy. Now, this is what the prosecutor was doing. Then during the trial, the prosecutor brought this a very huge vagina picture, a fake vagina, just a drawing of a vagina. And I told this guy, this has nothing to do with my charges. What is this? Then they brought this nurse who never worked on the case, never examined the alleged victim. She was giving the jury basically a lesson about the vagina, the inside, the outside. If you put something upward, you won't break the hymen. He never objected because that right there shouldn't be there because my charges has nothing to do with any vagina, and it's just like to basically to trick the jury, to show them that this is a sexual act. This person is a sick person. So all my rights was like violated left and right. He never wanted to object. He never called the witnesses because the mother of the alleged victim on an audio, on the papers, and the alleged victim told them that she lied, she made it up, and she was sorry. And everything is on the papers, but he never wanted to mention none of that. So when he cross-examined her, basically it was a cross-examination for 5 minutes. Wanted to let go, to just get her off the stand. So he wants to ruin the case for the prosecutor. Because if he really wanted to help me, there are so many questions. She told me I was speaking to her in English. Back then, I wasn't speaking in English, very little English. Mm-hmm. So he didn't call the mother who said she wanted to testify to tell the jury that she told her she lied, she made it up, and she was sorry. And this is all story, the grandparents behind this. And he knew that. He never called no one, no expert. The guy who was with us, his and his wife wanted to testify. They are in Napoli. He never called them. He never objected to the detective who never worked on the case. He never called actually the detective who's supposed to work on the case and never did his job, and he's alive and retired. Basically, he was there to weaken my case. That's what he was there for, and I promise you, sir, if I had a private attorney, they wouldn't dare to go to trial. They would have dropped these charges against me. They went there because they know that guy works for them and he was going to help them. So he never explained to me. When I asked for a translator, he never got me one. So I won't understand. So they used that against me, my English, my ignorance to the law, and I had no family, no money to hire an attorney actually who's gonna defend me. So when I went to trial, by their law, I won the trial. And let me give you this one. This is because this one was very important. The prosecutor realized that she messed up. They got the jury outside to another room, And she told him, Your Honor, the state wants to amend charges, bringing it down from A down to B because penetration is a must. That person has to say that I penetrate her anal for them to prove that. So it is, everything is worse. That's how they prove. They say they don't need any kind of evidence. That's the law here. They say a statement is sufficient to sustain a conviction. Then my lawyer objected. He didn't want her to bring it down. But he never told him that this has to be dismissed. Then she said, okay, I just wanted to help. They sustained it, sir, like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the jury went to deliberation. Like, you know how much time they took, these people? Even if I was Mr. IMRAN, I promise you, even if I was a dog there, you would have taken more time. Half an hour. No evidence. Nothing. And they came back with verdicts. Guilty. Half an hour. And I've seen so many trials, real trials on TV, with crazy evidence. You don't even have to leave your seat to deliberate, to find a person guilty, but they take 3 hours, 2 hours, 4 hours, me half an hour. Nothing. Based on my color, based on my face. It was a racial. They put me people, I forgot to tell you this, people they put on the jury, they're all white, they're all Christian. They put me a 19 years person, boy, then a 23 years old girl, then a 24. Then they go from the 20s straight to the 60s and 70s. Nobody was my peer. They were all Americans. They're all white. One girl was black. Only one. And anybody who showed any intelligence when they were selecting, they get rid of them. Anybody who said, I want more than just words, they get rid of him. There were no mixed race, no Chinese race, no Arabs, nothing. Was 11 whites, all Christian, and one black girl, and she was Christian. And they told them I was basically a terrorist, a criminal. I came to this country I'm dangerous, I'm very dangerous. Basically, you can't let him go. Just convict him because 9/11, and this is one of them. Basically, that was it. Then, when they found me guilty, now we talk about the sentence. This is the same guy, this guy who forced himself to be a judge without my consent, without nothing. So he's the one who's gonna now sentence me. This guy gave me 22 years extra for no reason, just because to him, how dare I take them to trial and I am like a Muslim to his mind and inferior. They give me 22 years extra. So consecutive and enhancement. And the law here says to enhance someone's a sentence or give them consecutive more, you have to have reasons. This person is a habitual. This person makes some crazy damage to a victim. But there was nothing. You only have words that didn't even match the charges. And basically, they know that I won trial, but to them, they don't care. He doesn't have no family. He has nobody to help him. He's alone. Let's bully him. Let's step on him. We look good for the news, for politicals, for next time we get election. That's what it is, basically. Once they know you have no backup, no back to protect you, they just want to step and walk all over you left and right. The lawyer, during that day, he didn't even defend me. He didn't even object. Nothing. He didn't say, hey, we went to trial. She didn't testify to this, to that. None of that. He just couldn't wait for this to be over with.
Where was Saeed in all of this?
Saeed left. He just left for no reason. He went to Morocco. He had his green card. He left for no reason, just run. He was afraid. I don't know if because when I asked him, he denied.
So even the allegation they were putting on him was also a lie?
Yeah, because I have never seen anything. So this is the grandmother, so she doesn't want us to be in that house. She doesn't want us to be part of the family. To her, it was like a betrayal that my ex-wife converted to Islam. to her, that was a big, it was a big mistake, unforgivable mistake.
Why didn't you leave? Why did you stay there for 3 years? Why didn't you leave when you sensed things were turning bad for you there in that house?
No, because I loved my ex-wife. I never had any problem with my ex-wife. And I married this woman because I loved her. I know my marriage was real. I didn't marry this woman just to come to United States. She was very kind to me, very nice to me. Everything was good. That woman, my ex-wife was good, but that woman I talk about, the grandparent, didn't mean nothing to me. They're like to me an outsider. I can just leave this, my ex-wife for them because that was not her fault.
Why not take your wife and the kids and go somewhere far away from them?
That's what my ex-wife was planning to do. That we were about to move away from that family, but somehow, some way, that woman knew because her nose was in everything. So when she know about my ex-wife plan, she was want to move faster.
So what about when you were in Morocco and you heard about the charges? Did you reach out to the U.S. Embassy saying that, hey, what the heck is this for?
And I didn't. I was afraid, Mr. Imran. I was really scared because I don't have any criminal history. Not in my country, not anywhere. So to me, I never been in trouble with the law anywhere in the world. So for me to reach out to the embassy to speak, that even my English at that time was not going to allow me to talk to them or have a conversation with them. I wouldn't understand.
Why did you go to Canada?
Because Canada I was married. I'm married to a Canadian. So my wife is from Canada.
You were married in Canada, you were living there, and that's where your arrest warrant came?
Yes, they said that I have warrants in the United States, and the United States is asking for my extradition.
Okay, so how many years have you spent and how many more years to go?
I've been in jail, so basically in 2018, they counted from when I was arrested in Canada, so that was summer 2017. So they gave me like 52 years. That sentence is erroneous, illegal. So the sentence 52 years, which is all law, half of it, 26 years. But you go through a lot of things like direct appeal or post-conviction relief. That's when you want to go back to court and tell them, hey, you violated my rights. You got to fix this error. So when I tried to do the direct appeal, they give me this person. I sent him 4 letters. He never answered me back. I have never seen him. He never sent me the briefs. He never raised the issue to a higher court to look into this issue. Because a higher court, when it sees like a violation of our rights, either they give you a new trial or they vacate everything and they let you go in the spot.
How about a writ of mandamus?
How is what? Pardon?
A writ of mandamus.
Mandamus? What is that?
You got to go to the library,
yeah.
dude. I mean,
yeah.
If there was anyone coming with some kind of an evidence from the grandparents that these kids are being brainwashed, that would have also helped.
Yeah, but he didn't want to help me, Mr. Imran. He didn't want to call nobody, understand, nobody, because my friend, the one who was with us, and his wife and my ex-wife, they were going to testify that the grandparents are hateful people, are the ones behind this stuff. But he didn't want to call nobody so I can look, I am that sick, twisted person. So he wants to ruin the prosecutor case. So because he was there to help her.
So why didn't your former wife fire your attorney and get a new one?
The problem is I didn't know these things. To me, everything is new to me. Can you imagine you are locked up abroad? You don't know nothing about the law. Your English is not even good. So you don't know about these things. You don't know that you can fire these people. You don't know nothing. You're just there hoping things is going to go right, hoping these people is going to do you justice. So if I knew back then if I knew back then what I know now, that was a whole story.
What about your former wife?
Yeah.
She was watching all of this. She had a brain cell.
No, she was not. She's in another phase. She told them that if they want her to come and testify, she would. But they never called her. She never been called because what was going to say was not in favor of the state. So, and the public pretender works for the state. So why would he call her to ruin the prosecutor's case?
So how are you hanging in there, man?
Look, I am thankful to Allah Almighty. I am strong, I'm good. You know, people in me, you know, there is the good, the bad, the ugly, but I'm good with everyone, everybody's good to me. You know, but there is nothing else to see a family. I have my dad in his 80s. I lost my mom when I was a kid. And my father is in his 80s. My father, my sisters, my family back there, friends, relatives are devastated, you know, because of this. And they feel helpless to help me. This is not who we are, sir. We are very good people. Our reputation is gold. But sometimes when you interact with some sick, twisted, hateful people, that's what they do to you, man. It's really insane. It's insane. I mean, like, it was insane from the beginning to the end. I'm not going to tell you I wish I never came to this country because this is ours as well.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Everything, man, it's just insane. It's really insane. That's what it is. It was a sick, twisted experience, man. I don't wish this on my worst enemies. I'm making this by Allah's grace. That He's giving me the strength to go through this dark, you know, times in my life.
This is Unshackled with IMRAN on JusticeNews.net.
This is Unshackled with IMRAN on JusticeNews.net.